This is Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by my good friend and top trainer, SugarHill Steward. Sugar, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Danny?
I'm very good. We're going to talk a lot about the year we're still in, almost gone by, 2022. But first of all, just tell people out there why you're currently in Jelena Mrdjenovich's gym in Edmonton, in Canada. What are you doing there at the moment?
I'm looking to buy this gym and franchise it out all around the world. No, I'm just up here training. So she's actually doing a class right now with about like 25 people. So um, one of those with about 40 heavy bags, 50 heavy, 40 50 heavy bags in there. One of those kind of classes. So something I'm very unfamiliar with because I just train fighters to box and to get knockouts. So when her class is finished, then we'll do another training session.
Has she got a fight coming up?
Not exactly a date, but we're here in sometime probably early February. So just trying to prepare and be more prepared than last time.
Good stuff. Now, you're predominantly known in the UK, certainly, as the trainer of Tyson Fury and the man who most people would say completely changed his style over the last couple of years in a positive way, in an effective way. So let's talk about the couple of fights you had with Tyson this year. It all started off, of course, with Dillian White selling out, excuse me, 94,000, was it, at Wembley? Massive event. What are your kind of memories and reflections on that, particularly the occasion itself?
My memories were more, I guess, after the fight. I enjoyed the fight what Tyson was doing, the things that we've been working on, and just me being able to watch him. For me, it's always me watching the fighters do what we've been working on. So it's almost like you're teaching a kid how to ride a bike, a kid, and then he's riding that bike by himself, starting to jump the curves and do things like that, starting to do tricks with it. But it's that kind of feeling with me. And other than that, the feeling for me was after the fight, maybe later on that night when me and John just sat and watched the replay of like, I guess maybe the highlights, but just looking at the crowd and looking at the intro. I don't know who done it, but it was just just like a whole recap of it, and just watching that because I didn't even know there was fireworks up in the sky or anything like that, and I don't even pay attention to the crowd, so I'm just focused on the fight. So being in front of that kind of a crowd or any crowd particularly, it doesn't really affect me or it doesn't affect me at all. It's like they're not even there. It would probably affect me more if it was just two people in the crowd.
You should have been here during the pandemic. You could have experienced it.
Yeah, that was a bit weird because I did have a fight in the pandemic, but that was a bit weird because you could hear everything what the other person was saying and everything like that. So kind of like being in the gym sometimes when we have sparring and two different, someone coming from somewhere else and they have another coach and, I'm telling my fighter what to do and he's telling what his fighter to do and you can both hear each other talking to each other. You hear everything. So it was a bit different just because it was a professional fight, but nothing uncommon at all.
Now, you said that one of the things you look for in the fight is to see your fighter executing the stuff you worked on in the gym. In the White fight specifically, were there certain things that you saw that Tyson was doing that you'd worked on that you were particularly proud of?
Yeah, mostly for me, it was his balance. I'm always looking at the fighter's balance and the way he throws his punches. And also him seeing things. Like, it's things that I see outside the ring. And I'm like, oh, he didn't see that. So, watching him see those things that I was seeing. So that was an enjoyable fight.
And then going on from there, we saw him most recently against Derek Chisora, of course. There was a lot of negotiations. I know you don't get involved in that particularly, but with Anthony Joshua's team trying to make that fight for December, first of all. Were you, I don't know how you look at it as a trainer, but were you at all disappointed that the Joshua fight didn't come off for Tyson?
Uh, Honestly, truthfully, the only disappointment I had is because Tyson wanted that fight. But for me, it doesn't really care. So, I mean, I wanted it because Tyson wanted it, and that's supposed to be who the challenge is. Yeah, we want the best challengers. But for me, the most important thing was for him just to fight, period. That's what he overall and ultimately loves to do is to fight. It's not really even mattering, making a difference who he fights. He's a fighting man. He wants to fight. He wants to stay busy. So instead of waiting around for one person and chasing, chasing that, what I call it a dream, chasing that dream, go out there and do what you really love to do, is fight. So that way you have control over your life. It's a lot less stress for him to deal with, and for myself, because you don't have to worry about letting somebody else control you. You control your own. You control your own career and own life by not worrying about things that you have no control over. You don't have any control over whether they're going to take the fight or not, but you do have control over somebody else taking that fight, and you going ahead preparing and then going out there and fighting.
And two,
easy peasy.
Yeah, simple. Two kind of questions specifically about that fight. First of all, do you feel that Chisora, either via his corner team or the referee, should have been stopped sooner than he was?
I don't want to get into it like that. I would never do it like that. So if it was my fight, I would have stopped the fight. I looked at the situation with the fighter, and let's just all remember this. The trainer's number one job is to protect the fighter. That fighter, I feel like that fighter should be protected just as if it was your child. So if you had a child, fighting, you want to protect that child. You don't want to go out there and have something happen to him that would damage him in the long run. So yeah, the best way and the easy way to look at it is to take it as if it's your child. And me, definitely, I felt the fight should have been stopped. I would have stopped it earlier. I don't want to try to mix my words up, but I would have stopped the fight earlier, maybe like the sixth round, maybe fifth, sixth. But I saw him personally myself walk back to the corner staggering. And I looked at Tyson and I said, man, I said, that's it, right? They're gonna stop it, right? Like, look at him. And we both just looked at each other and kind of shrugged right here, like, like in a sad way, like, like dang, like, it's just if that's happening in the gym, I'm stopping it. Anything like that, because it's always the fighter's healthy and safety. First of all, we as trainers and coaches and teachers are to protect and to teach. So the first important thing is to protect. Actually teaching the fighter how to box and defend themselves and things, that's a part of protection.
Of course.
But the key word is the fighter's safety.
And the other question, I think you might have a more negative response to this one, is that there have been people out there who've questioned whether Tyson perhaps carried Chisora, kept him in the fight when perhaps he could have got him out of there earlier. What do you make of that?
I can't say that to be exact. To say it was nothing that I said like, "Hey, take it easy" or whatever. But maybe Tyson got tired. Maybe Tyson's old. Maybe he's washed up, and this was a good look for Usyk to see and to maybe see some flaws in Tyson or anybody else out there. Maybe they see some flaws and maybe they want to have a chance with him now.
I'm glad you mentioned Usyk because it makes the segue to the next subject all the easier.
I might as well get to it because I know it's coming anyway.
Well, they're aiming for March the 4th. I spoke to Usyk's promoter yesterday. 3 Middle East. Oleksandr Usyk.
Oh, okay. I didn't speak to him, man.
But
I spoke to his manager.
Aegis Klimas. Yeah, I spoke to him out in Abu Dhabi a few months ago. I haven't spoken to him since. But yeah, it seems like they're aiming for March the 4th, probably in the Middle East. But
I hope not. I just talked to Eagles. I told him, he asked me, was me and Tyson scared? And I said, yes. So I hope he doesn't, I hope he's not shooting for any date.
Fair enough.
He asked me, was we scared? I told him, yes. We're very scared. So, yeah.
Where does that kind of leave you, though, in terms of there not being a date or a location yet? Has Tyson kind of got you on standby?
I'm always on standby. I'm SugarHill, baby.
But what I mean, if there was a date confirmed tomorrow, could Tyson just call you and you'd be there the next day? I mean, you've got commitments, of course.
No, he couldn't just call me and be the next day, but maybe 2 days. We have an understanding, we have an understanding in a relationship. So, I mean, obviously he knows that I'm doing things too. So if I'm in the middle of something, we just make it work. It doesn't matter. I understand the question you're asking me, but I mean, we make it work. So there's been in the first fight, actually, when I trained Tyson, which was the second Deontay Wilder fight, I had other obligations. I came to camp. I left 3 times. in that first fight when he fought Wilder. Or the second Wilder fight. I left 3 times because I had 3 other fights. I had trained my fighters as much as I could. I left him in good hands with one of my other coaches at home, a guy named Theatrice Chambers, which we call him Third. He's a third. And he's from Detroit. We grew up together. And I leave my guys with him. And when we go fight and then we go win still. So, like I said, he knows my situation. He understands boxing. If I have other engagements that happen before, there's something solid with his fight, then yeah, my obligation is to pretty much carry those things out. We just make it work. So he understands if I have to come in and train him, and if I have to leave and then come right back, I'm only leaving to go to that fight. I'm not leaving for like the whole week. I have other people around me that are, competent enough and experienced enough to take care of things while I'm away.
Do you have a preference in terms of the date or the location or both for the Usyk fight?
0. I don't get into that. Like I said, I just keep living, and when something presents itself, then I have to make those choices. But other than that, I don't wish for dates and things like that because it doesn't fall into my scheduling. It doesn't fall into my mind state, because those kind of things will lead to stress. I don't like the stress. I like to stay looking young and handsome. That's what Muhammad Ali used to say, looking handsome. So yeah, I like to stay looking handsome and stay stress free.
This is clearly where I've been going wrong.
Listen, Danny, we can only control things. We should only worry about things that we can control, But I know everybody doesn't, but that's just the way I look at it. I don't let this stuff bother me, and I don't even have a game plan for Usyk or anything like that, or for AJ. I only have a game plan for whoever they say we're gonna fight. I can't sit there and have a game plan for these 5 other fighters, and then you never fight them. What did I just waste my time for?
It's true.
Because that game plan was for Tyson. That game plan would have been for Tyson Fury fighting those guys, not somebody else fighting them. So if I had another fighter fighting them, then that game plan would change.
Yeah.
And I just wasted my time thinking about all that stuff with Tyson and those guys, or those guys with Tyson, and I could have been practicing golf.
Well, yeah, you got to get your priorities right, Sugar.
Yeah, I could have been getting my score lower.
Getting your handicap down, yeah. When you've spoken to Tyson recently, do you get the impression that he wants the Usyk fight more than any other? Is that kind of his priority, do you feel?
You know what? As everybody knows, Tyson, his priorities change. So 1 minute is AJ, 1 minute is Usyk, 1 minute is Chisora, 1 minute is White. Ultimately, it's just whoever. He wants the big best fights, but if you can't get those, what do you do? Just sit around and do nothing? So he, like we all in life, we can't get things that we want. We accept something else. We take the next option.
And while you haven't formulated game plans as yet, because there's no opponent definitely in the books, looking at Usyk and Joe Joyce, the 2 fighters that confronted Tyson after the Chisora fight, which do you perceive?
I think Joe Joyce and Tyson confronted Usyk.
Yeah, maybe. Actually, there was a bit of 2-on-1 going on.
I was like some WWE or something like that.
Well, Tyson's got plenty of experience in that. He just needs to bring you with him as the manager next time.
Let me go rough somebody up.
Yeah. But with Usyk and Joyce, who do you perceive would give Tyson the harder challenge in terms of the skill sets and how they mesh?
I think both equally, because they both have different styles. So, Usyk would be because of his boxing skills, and then Joe Joyce because of his strong will and determination and his power. So, yeah, I don't look at it as one being better, a greater, challenge than the other one, just because they have 2 totally different styles, and both are very dangerous and both effective.
Now
it's just that Tyson can do both of those things.
Well, yeah. Talking of that, you've trained a lot of fighters in your career, both as a head trainer and also helping out your uncle Emmanuel Steward previously. Where does Tyson sit in kind of the pantheon of great fighters you've worked with?
For me, he's at the top.
Wow.
He's at the top. I would have to say that definitely, because, but my main reason for saying that is because when we worked for the second Wilder fight, to have a fighter of Tyson's status and the things he's been through and where he was at in boxing at the top, fighting Deontay Wilder for the second time, for him to take everything that he knew in boxing his whole life and to just put it to the side, like jump out of all that, and then step into what I wanted him to do. To me, that's incredible. Oh, TV show, that's incredible. So that was incredible, and it was amazing, for him to do that, to take away everything that he knew and say, okay, I'm going to only do what you want me to do. You don't get that. I don't get that with beginners, and those are clean slates, But to take somebody like that experience and his pedigree and all the championships he won, and say, hey, forget all that, do it this way. That's big. And the only other person that would come second to that would be Adonis Stevenson. It's just that Adonis done the same thing. It's just he wasn't a world champion at the time, but the things that he knew, he just scrapped them and said, you know what, I'm gonna do what you say. And it just all goes to, a lot of it goes to the relationship and the faith that the fighter has in his coach and the coach has in the fighter.
And just to kind of round off, what would constitute a successful 2023, both for you and for Tyson?
A fight every 2 months. And Tyson's always in shape. Yeah, Tyson like to fight 5 times in a year, something crazy like that. Something that people don't do. It's with boxing, you pretty much are seeing the same thing sometimes, and it's kind of boring. But me and Tyson have talked about, fighting 3 guys in one night, stuff like that. Like just to really, entertain. It's all entertainment. So Tyson loves entertaining, as you know, and everybody else knows. He's on tour doing some shows entertaining now. So, we like to entertain the world and to bring boxing back like the old school, make it interesting. Boxing's been around so long, and sometimes it's overlooked by other sports, especially in America, because we have so many other sports over here. Sure. But I think it would just bring more of a light to boxing worldwide. With some fights like that, just those kind of challenges, not just challenges or exhibitions where it's a one-sided, what it's going to be like, but add some challenge to like at a circus, how they had the strong man or somebody wrestling a bear, things like that, just something interesting.
So we may see Tyson next year wrestle a bear. What's maybe more likely, him wrestling a bear or fighting 5 times in the calendar year?
Probably wrestling a bear. We can go
bear,
find a bear. Yeah. And we ain't got to ask him no questions. Just go in his territory.
Great stuff. Sugar, always appreciate talking to you. Looking forward to seeing you back in the UK early next year. And I'll let you get back to Jelena. She's watching over us, as we know. So
yeah. Look at this gym, man. I'll show it to you a little bit.
Oh, awesome.
This is just the upstairs, ain't it? Nice, huh?
Oh, it's beautiful, yeah.
I would love this to have just to be a boxing gym, a regular boxing gym. This is the upstairs. You got another section upstairs. You got this bar and food area over here. Outside balconies outside. And this is what Edmonton looks like right now. I'll just show it to you. It's supposed to be like negative minus 40 degrees Celsius outside.
Wow, that is very cold.
But me being from Detroit, it's like they're saying how cold it is. And I'm like, I used to walk to school and stuff with just a varsity jacket on, maybe a hat, and some regular shoes like some penny loafers or something like that. I didn't wear boots. But you didn't think about those things as a kid. It's like, you better walk to school. It wasn't it's too cold outside. It's this, it's that. It was just like, walk to school. You knew it. So it wasn't no option. And if it was too cold, you know what we did?
What?
Ran.
There you go.
Yeah, hurry up and get there. Yep.
See, that's what I needed as a kid, a colder environment, clearly. Get out on those roads. Sugar, really appreciate it. And have a great Christmas and a great New Year also. And we'll see you on the other side.
All right. Good talking to you again, Danny. And next time you see me, it'll be warmer weather.
Yeah, I hope so. Take care. Speak soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.